if I draw a box, it creates a text box that works like a word processor. So a formal word processor actually sets text in these boxes. And when the text gets to the edge, it automatically breaks. You guys got that? Okay, so here's another difference between the two. Here's another difference. When I have a text box and I change the box size, look how the text wraps inside of it. So the text will reposition itself to fit within that container. When I use the first method, let's see what happens when I change the size of the box. They're different, right? So how would I describe this? The first method, where I click and write a continuous line, it's setting text more like a graphical element, like an ellipse or a square. It's treating the text like a graphical element. So it allows me to distort it through transformation. The second method creates a word processing box that allows me to manipulate the text through the box, and it still looks legible. It doesn't alter the text. It's just the position of the text. Does that make sense? Okay, now another thing that you should be aware of is that when we look at the text box, there is a little handle on the right side. You see this little handle right here? So this will toggle how the text is working. This will switch the text from being a text box to a graphical box. All right, so let me do that again. This is a text box. So see how it's solid? This is a text box. That means that the text will wrap in it. All right, we saw that. If I double click on this again, the fill disappears. Now it's graphical text. Does that make sense? Okay, so two ways to set text. And which one do you use? Which one do you think you use? It's kind of a trick question. So if I was drawing a logo and it had an acronym, ABC, and I wanted to treat each letter individually, I would use the first method. An A, set it in its own little bounding box that will allow me to distort the A however I want. Do that again. A B. And a C. So if I'm drawing a logo that has an acronym, maybe each letter, it's in its own little box that I can manipulate. But if I'm writing a paragraph, then I want to draw a box and create a text box. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so if you guys got that, any questions or concerns?